in today's dollars. At the time of his death, based on today's... Now, how they're figuring this out, I don't know. But let's just say that, they're able to do it. And I'm pretty sure they're pretty capable of doing it. That brings Madison at number 6. So that means that the top 5 are worth more than $100 million. Guess being president is a rich man's game. Coming in at number 5, another gentleman going way back. Worth, at the time of his death, a staggering $119 million. President Andrew Jackson. For a self-proclaimed populist who dismantled the federal bank, Jackson had a surprisingly high net worth. His fortune primarily came from substantial land holdings and his military career. Well, you're not seeing anybody in the military getting wealthy today, but land holdings. It's you know what they used to say. You better buy up all the land you can because they ain't making any more, unless of course you're out there in Dubai where they are making more land out there in the Gulf, or if you're out there in China in the South China Sea where they're making more land so they could put military bases and airports on there. But other than that, they're not making any more land. So it's number 5, $119 million, Andrew Jackson. And coming in at number 4, oh yes, that ever so popular elder cousin of FDR, Theodore Roosevelt, at $125 million upon his death. Although the Roosevelts were a wealthy New York family, New York Democrats, Theodore did struggle financially in his earlier years. However, he gained wealth as a prolific author, writing over 40 books throughout his life. His most valuable asset was the Sagamore Hill estate on Long Island. Now, quite frankly, I didn't know he was such a prolific author of books. Especially to help him amass $125 million. Well, I guess, how much is Stephen King worth? Anybody know? I don't know. He's probably around there too. So, hey, the written word can pay, I guess. Maybe I should write 40-some books. J.K. Rowling, isn't she worth over $1 billion now simply because of the Harry Potter books? Yeah. Written word can be worth a lot. At number 3, that racist, slave-owning founding father himself, at $212 million, is Thomas Jefferson. A true Renaissance man, Jefferson had several successful business endeavors. Oh my goodness, he was a successful businessman. How terrible. But like many of the founding fathers, Jefferson's real fortune came from property. Jefferson's large Virginia estate, Monticello, remains an architectural wonder even to this day. Renaissance man, knew what he was doing. Number 2 is not who you might think it is. Worth a whopping, staggering, upon his death, $525 million in today's dollars, the founding father himself, George Washington. Washington's massive net worth can be summarized in one word: land. The Washington family was one of the most successful land speculators in Virginia, and their Mount Vernon estate consisted of more than 8,000 acres. And who's number 1? The surprise of the century. Net worth of $1 billion. JFK, yes. John F. Kennedy, JFK's father, Joe Kennedy, built his fortune through several successful business endeavors, including banking, stock trading. Stock trading, oh, that's evil. Those evil Wall Street people. Selling liquor, and I might add, not always legally selling liquor, and producing movies. Technically, Kennedy was never a billionaire himself. He was assassinated before he could inherit his family's wealth, but while he held office, he did have access to his family's large trust fund and numerous, wait for it, real estate land holdings. So today's dollars, Kennedy would have been worth $1 billion. Democrat. Now, out of that top 10, I saw quite a few Democrats in there. Any Republicans? No. I mean, you got Thomas Jefferson, and George founding fathers, Federalist type of things. But, there was Teddy Roosevelt. I guess he was an old Republican, but he was kind of a populist as well. But not many Republicans. I think there's more Democrats on that list than Republicans. And I know some people are probably saying, well, we've got lots of different presidents, so where do some of them, others that didn't make the top 10, where do they fit into this equation? Well, even a president like John Tyler, who basically ascended to the presidency after William Henry Harrison died 23 days into his term, he was worth $51 million. People like James Monroe was worth $27 million. Even Martin Van Buren, probably not a very well-known president, Grover Cleveland, these guys are over $20 million. But, you had, George H.W. Bush, worth only a paltry $23 million. And this is a guy who worked in the oil industry. Right? You think, well, he must be worth billions of dollars if he was in oil. No, only 23 million. But, some of that comes from significant, land holdings, property in the state of Maine. And I still can't get over George Washington, but George W. Bush was only worth $20 million. And he even co-owned the Texas Rangers. And he's an oil man, but only $20 million. Where is that vast wealth that he supposedly had? Richard Nixon, a Republican, number 19 on the list at $15 million. And Ronald Reagan. Some people, I was kind of surprised at his low net worth. Ronald Reagan comes in at number 20 as the 20th wealthiest president to date, worth only $13 million at the time of his death. That's, not where you would think that he would be, especially if you're listening to the left. And coming in at number 23, the current occupant of the Oval Office, Barack Hussein Obama, with a net worth of $7 million. He currently makes more than any other president except for George W. Bush, I think, per year, at $400,000 a year. And he's made most of his money from his two best-selling books. Another author. I think something about books, authorship. I better get writing some books now. I mean, $7 million off a couple of books. I do. Now, there's one thing about Barack Obama I do not disparage. I do not disparage him earning his wealth honestly. If people want to, pay him for his books, I don't care, if they're garbage or if you think they're garbage or not, doesn't matter. If people want to willingly trade their money for his books, I'm all for that kind of stuff. That is fine. I don't have to buy his books. I don't have to like his books. But if he earned his $7 million honestly, and you know what? I'm not going to disparage him on that, because I'm going to take anybody to task if they say, well, he didn't get that money honestly. Well, yeah, he did. He wrote it. He wrote or ghost wrote, doesn't matter, a couple of books that sold a lot of copies, and somebody was willing to pay him ridiculous amounts of money for the rights to publish and sell those books. So good for him. $7 million, making him the 23rd wealthiest president. Now, I know some people are saying, are you giving Obama praise? Well, yeah, I mean, look, the guy's a capitalist. He's just a closet, if he's not, he's a hypocrite. Come on, let's be real about that. If you are going to run around talking about how, especially the Clintons now, If you're going to run around talking about how bad it is to be, for the rich to be rich, and you're, sitting on $55 million or more, and, there are some people that say that between the two of them and their Clinton Foundation that they're worth over $100 million. But still, Bill alone is at 55, so... if you're running around talking about, I ain't no ways tired because we was broke when we left the White House, and you're sitting on a $55 million net worth egg, don't lie to me. And no, you're not doing it honestly. You're charging $500,000 or more for a speech. And I can't believe people are actually paying for it. And you're getting people to donate to your Clinton Crime Foundation, and you're taking some of the money right off the top, is what it appears that they're doing, or the bottom. I don't care. It's all going in the same place. At least Barack Hussein Obama, as much of a jerk and as bad of a president as he is, actually honestly earned. Now, it's safe to say that if he did not become president, he wouldn't have gotten $7 million for his 2 or 3 books. Probably right. But he was able to take advantage of his run for the White House the first time around and parlay that into a small private fortune. Good for him. Can't disparage him for that. Not at all. At least he didn't try taking it from other people and putting it in his own pocket, like it appears that the Clintons are doing. There's no evidence that they're criminals yet, but, it's highly suspect. Highly, highly suspect. So I'm going to go with the notion that maybe everything there with the Clinton Foundation is not on the up and up. Just saying. Speaking of money, however, there's another site here. I didn't get a chance to go through it, but I'll go through it now. There are 10 states. This is MSN.com. Talking about 10 states where taxes are going to go up. Connecticut. If you're going to live in Connecticut or purchase products or services from companies based in Connecticut, it's going to cost you a little bit more because Connecticut's taxes are going to go up by $1.7 billion in new revenue. New taxes, higher taxes. Georgia. Hotel guests will have to pay $5 more each night thanks to a tax package that could yield up to $1 billion to fix the Peach State's backlog of road and bridge repairs. In Kansas, people in Kansas will pay more for nearly everything they buy in the Sunflower State. Lawmakers raised the state's sales tax to 6.5% to close a $400 million budget gap. And Nevada, state of gambling. What happens in Vegas may stay in Vegas, but so will more of your money thanks to a historic tax package that is expected to raise $1.5 billion over the next 2 years. Even just a simple cab is going to cost you more. South Dakota, motorists will have to pay more, but in return, they'll be able to drive faster on 2 major highways. State lawmakers passed sweeping legislation that raised the gas tax by 6 cents per gallon. Oh, yeah, hit drivers in the pocket. That's always a good thing to do. Utah, motorists will pay an additional 5 cents per gallon at the pump more for a new tax starting January 1st in 2016. The revenue will help fund transportation projects and maintenance. In addition, counties can add a sales tax now. Oh, that should be nice. Vermont, state next door. Soft drinks and cigarettes will cost more, thanks Bernie Sanders. While wealthy taxpayers will be able to take fewer deductions, the changes were aimed at closing a budget gap of nearly $100 million in the state of Vermont. So wealthy taxpayers will have fewer deductions, and you're going to pay more for your soft drinks and cigarettes. I think I'll stay out of Vermont. Idaho, Iowa, and Nebraska, gas taxes are going to go up 7 to 10 cents per gallon in those states. So, look, You want to live in a state that taxes more? Well, then you might want to visit one of those states. That's why the New Hampshire Advantage is kind of cool. No state income